star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
What did Pac mean to Mike Tyson?
Just a young kid that really wanted to be great, and it happened.
Mike Tyson was the only person I can remember being a millionaire, just being like a real brother. And that was our hero, and I want to be like that.
What's good, y'all? It's Coffee. Tapping back in with another one, man. You guys hear that clip there, that audio? We're talking about two icons, two larger-than-life personalities, man, and the connection between them, man. The Tupac, Mike Tyson, Iron Mike connection, man. Let's get into it. Make sure to jump in the comments, guys. Let me know your thoughts. It's Coffee, y'all, but peep it, man. That's, from some kind of documentary or something like that recently, and you heard, that old news footage, right? Tupac Shakur died at the age of 25 after a brief time in a rough business. And that's so crazy with Pac, man. We'll be talking about Tupac forever. The world will never stop loving Tupac's art and what he brought to the table, what he brought to this world. You know what I'm saying? And we look at society where we're at in this current day and age, and so often we wonder, what would it be like if Pac was here? What would Pac be doing? What would Tupac's career have evolved into? You know what I mean? But we heard Mike say, Pac was just a kid who wanted to be great, and it happened. And then on the flip side of things, Pac really looked up to Mike Tyson, that he was a hero for Tupac, you know what I'm saying, and for many other people. But for Pac, where Pac came from, the type of struggles that he faced and everything, the way Iron Mike was able to persevere through it all and have the success that he did, is just so wild to look at their relationship, you know what I mean? Take a look at things full circle is the way that I like to put it, you feel me? Now, with what Mike was able to accomplish and what he said about Tupac, how he wanted to be great and he made it happen. Jump in the comments, guys, and let me know what you think for Tupac. What made him so different? We see so many people work hard, pay their dues, bust their ass to try to get on in this industry, in the entertainment world, whether it be hip-hop, acting, both. As we know, Tupac did a bit of both. Some people are just a flash in the pan, they're here today, gone tomorrow. Some people have that success, but I don't know, they lose the passion or the drive at some point, and their memory just kind of fades away. But with some people, they just have that it factor. They're just so amazing at what they do. The energy that they bring to the table with them is just unmatchable. And it seems everyone who met Tupac felt that way about him. And with Tupac, I really feel like, he was just getting started. We talk about time periods, and with Tupac, so often, like you heard that reporter say, a brief run in a rough business. I mean, Pac was at it for a long time. But for instance, the whole death row run was only a year or something like that? 11 months, I believe. It's crazy when you really think about how short that time period was, but that was just a piece of an era in the Tupac, a chapter in his story, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, getting into Pac and Mike Tyson's friendship, relationship, which, you know what I'm saying, in show business, so often we hear about different people who oh yeah, I'm cool with him, I'll fuck with him, you know what I'm saying? Everyone wants to name drop each other like a game verse. But Pac and Tyson, their friendship really was genuine, you know what I'm saying? We've heard it from Iron Mike many times. And when we hear about when they first met, there's a lot of different interviews and clips out there and stuff like that you can find, where it spoke on. Iron Mike didn't really know who Pac was, but like we were just talking about, that it factor, that energy, that aura that he brought with him. It was at a club. Mike said, nah, let Pac in. And I guess he ended up getting on the mic, tearing it down or whatever, had an entourage with him or whatever, and they ended up really just hitting it off and being good friends, but almost like brothers right away, right off the rip, and ended up keeping in touch and tapping in with each other whenever they could. Now, this is another crazy part about the whole Tupac Mike Tyson connection, right? Mike went away, was convicted of a wicked crime. Now, comment, y'all. We've spoke about this on the channel before. Do you believe that Mike Tyson did that? Do you believe that Mike Tyson was or is a wicked individual? On this J Coffee Talk platform, those who've been around for the duration, the different types of content that we've got into, at one point in time, we were, covering a very wicked one. Not a rapper, but just a YouTube personality, you know what I'm saying? And that individual and those who flirt with him constantly would mention Iron Mike and Tupac with the whole wicked discussion, you know what I'm saying, where they would try to be like, oh, y'all are talking about me, what about Mike and Pac? As we know, they both were convicted of similar crimes. Now, comment and let me know what y'all think if Mike was guilty of that, was actually, like, we know he was convicted in a court of law, but I'm just saying, it's like what we see going on with Deshaun Watson now. A lot of people feel a lot of different ways. A lot of people, are mad that the Browns fans we're seeing are talking about they ain't going to be fans no more and all that. And a lot of people say, yo, there's something funny style about this. The FBI was investigating the lawyer and some of the some of the accusers, alleged victims or whatever, for extortion, saying it looked like they were trying to extort Deshaun. But when it comes to Tupac's conviction, it's like everyone seems to say, man, that was some BS. Pac didn't do that ish. Some motherfuckers that came around were on some bull-ish. And a lot of people feel, because like a lot of people convicted of wicked crimes always cry set up. But Tupac was really set up. And not to mention, Pac also was out on an appeal bail and was fighting that case. He had a solid appeal in. And many people believe that case was going to be beat. You know what I'm saying? At the time of Pac's death, he was probably going to go back to jail for violating the terms of the appeal bail. You know what I mean? But he was going to beat that case, y'all. But anyways, when Mike went away, Pac visited him. And you can go check into it. Mike Tyson has spoke about it. He said that there was a lot of people that did visit him and come see him and everything, but no one's visits touched him more or meant more to him or raised his spirits while he was doing that bid than Tupac. You feel me? He said it was like the whole redneck prison, the way he described it, just was like affected by Pac. They could feel that energy. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? White dudes, black dudes, everybody, like they were like, yo, that's Pac, man. And the guards, I guess, hated it because they, you know what I mean? Because the inmates, some of them were fans of Pac, but they just like for them to do their job in the prison or whatever. Mike said that they flat out said Tupac visiting was a safety concern because people got too turned the fuck up. Now, as we know, later on down the road, like we just said, Pac was convicted of these charges, came home on that appeal bail, signed with Suge, death row, and all that $1 million bail. But peep it, Pac was locked up for 9 months, and then 11 months after getting out, running with death row, he was killed. But this is what's so crazy about that Pac Mike connection. If you watch that footage, we all know the night that, horrible night in history. It's crazy, right? It's like bittersweet for Mike Tyson. Mike fought Bruce Seldon and knocked him the fuck out. And you can see the footage of Pac and Suge going back there celebrating with him. I guess Pac was with him during a press conference or whatever. And we know, you know what I'm saying, later on that night, Tupac was killed. And Iron Mike the next day waking up, getting the calls and stuff like that and finding out what happened when he rushed to the hospital. I guess he said he was not able to get in there to see Tupac. He never got to really say a goodbye to him. And he said he never, he looks back and regrets because he never smoked some bud with Pac. That Tupac always wanted to smoke with Mike, but he never did. But ain't that crazy? You know what I'm saying? These two larger than life icons, the different hardships that they went through going away, facing these types of crimes that really smeared their names and had them looking like some fucked up individuals. Once again, guys, comment and let me know what you think about Pac and Mike. If you believe that they were those kind of wicked ones, those kind of individuals, or you think it was some bullish. But throughout their friendship and everything, you know what I mean, that was a big night for Mike. After everything he had went through, he won the title that night. And, it was a big night for Pac. He had got that appeal in, got out of jail, you know what I mean, had all that success. And then, is there to celebrate with Mike that night when he wins the title. It's just kind of crazy if you look at that timeline and look at that relationship and that friendship, the way the timelines intersected. It's crazy, right? And, you could tell when you hear Mike Tyson talk about Tupac that he gets really, really choked up, that he's really flucked up behind it all. And you know what's kind of crazy, man? You know what I'm saying? As Jay Coffee Talk blog, I got to kind of segue into speaking about Whack 100 for a moment. Y'all see the Whack 100 show doing crazy numbers, and he said, over 115,000 views in the first 24 hours and 8,000 subscriber jump, gaining 8,000 subs. And he says it's fuel for the haters. So I guess, Jay Coffee Talk would consider to be a Whack 100 hater, as, we point out some of the things he does. You know what I'm saying? I'm just an internet nerd. I'm just doing, I don't want no smoke. I'm just doing me. But people, this is what's something so crazy that I was in comment. Let me know what you guys think about this, y'all, that I was surprised that Mike Tyson took part in all this, knowing his relationship with Pac and what it all meant to him. If you guys, and I wonder, comment, y'all, do you guys think that Mike wasn't really aware of all this that was going on? I bet Whack kind of did this unbeknownst to Mike. As we know, Mike has the Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson podcast, and there was a Whack 100 episode. And if you guys recall, leading up to that episode, Whack 100 pushed this fake campaign on social media, even to the point of there being fake fight footage with a Mike Tyson lookalike that was a comedian, you know what I mean, that like I've shared with y'all before, when I traced that post down to where it originated from, a blog Instagram account told me, yo, Coffee, Whack 100 is the one that sent us this, behind the scenes. He was shaking and moving, trying to get that promo up for his Mike Tyson episode. He was spreading a narrative that his jaw was broke. Mike broke his jaw. They got into a fight. You know what I'm saying? Because, as we know before, Whack 100 had some disrespectful things to say about Tupac. Nowadays he said, no, I just was saying he wasn't a thug, or he wasn't this. He was revolutionary. Just like now when he speaks on Nip, he just says, yo, I'm just saying he never went platinum. He wasn't legendary when it came to sales. And it's like, come on, bruh. You were saying a lot more than that. You know what I mean? Was like Whack acting like everyone just gets so caught up on what, like, come on, y'all, you're trolling. You're trolling, and when you're doing it, you're playing with legends. But anyways, he made it sound like he got into it and had to tell Mike how he really felt about Pac and that he was going to stand on those words, and they got into a fight. And when it all came down to it, and we saw that episode, because it premiered on a live stream, the numbers were through the roof, but nothing happened. Not only was there no altercation or incident, they didn't even really talk about Pac, because Whack knew better than to play with Mike like that, I think. You feel me? But isn't that crazy? Like, Mike had to not know that Whack was doing all that. I just can't see him being cool with that and taking part in that, with how much Tupac meant to him. You know what I mean? But that's all I got on this one, guys. It's Jay Coffee Talk. Just looking into and reflecting on the Tupac Mike Tyson connection. I thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to join the discussion in the comments. As always, like I said, y'all, that's what it's all about over here, tapping in with y'all, the people. If you're new, hit them buttons. We drop content every day: music, news, sports, current events, life, and much, much more. And I'm about here, y'all. Peace.